What's going on, y'all? Welcome back, man. I'm your boy Zach. Today, man, we got a special episode for y'all, man. We talking about women's basketball. We're talking about specifically Kiyomi McMiller, head coach Coquese Washington at Rutgers University. Now, if you've been following women's basketball all year, you've heard the name Kiyomi McMiller. She calls herself the product, and she tries to put on a show night in and night out for the fans and for her team. But Rutgers is currently 0-7, no wins in Big Ten play. And they have a rising issue, a bubbling issue going on between player and coach. Now, Kiyomi McMiller, she's averaging 20 points per game, star freshman, second in the Big Ten in points per game, just behind sophomore phenom Juju Watkins. Now, she's a bucket getter. She hits tough shots. I was watching them play the other night against Michigan State. She hit some tough shots, tough contested twos, contested threes. She's a bucket. She gets busy. She's averaging what, 5 rebounds, 3 assists per game. She's what, fourth in the Big Ten in 3-pointers made. She can absolutely light it up. But Rutgers is losing. So as the head coach, Coach Washington, you have to figure out a way to get your players to play well together, to put 40 minutes of play together to get a win. Now, is it maybe Kiyomi McMillan needs to change the way she plays? Does Coach Washington have to figure out the lineups that work best together? Maybe. She has a player on the bench that averaged 10 points per game last year. Now, granted, Rutgers wasn't good last year. They wasn't good the year before that. But Coach Washington somehow has her job still. Clock's ticking. You got to find a way to get some wins, right? So, like I said, she has a player on the team that averaged 10 points per game last year. That's now coming off the bench. Maybe you need to slide her to the starting lineup with Kiyomi McMiller and let them play alongside one another. That might be a good idea, but hey, I'm not a coach. But when you look at situations like that, you have to start to wonder, as the coach, you have to start trying different things. You're not winning games. Before I get fired as a coach, if I'm losing, I'm trying everything. Whether that's going small, whether that's going big, or that's playing Kiyomi McMiller off the ball, taking the ball out of her hands a little bit more to try to get others involved. I'm trying everything. So if Coach Washington isn't trying everything, she's going to be out of there very soon. So by the end of the year, I could see either Kiyomi or Coach Washington being gone, if not both of them being gone. With the transfer portal and NIL these days, Kiyomi could be gone in snap of a finger. Now, Kiyomi McMiller did miss 2 games, about a week ago now. And Coach Washington mentioned that it was an internal issue, a locker room issue that they addressed and they got past it. But Kiyomi McMiller missed one of the biggest games of the year when they faced Juju Watkins and USC. And then she missed another game after that because of whatever internal issue took place. Now, Kiyomi did go to social media to address, her missing the game. She announced that it was her head coach's decision for her not to play in that game against USC. And that caused a lot of conversation about her future at Rutgers. This was just last week. So her dad came out and said that she would not be transferring. They're not looking to transfer. We've heard it all before. People have gone back on their word since the beginning of time. So I wouldn't be surprised if she plays the rest of the season. She's back now, but I wouldn't be surprised if she plays out the rest of the season and then either whether it's a coaching change that takes place or Kiyomi McMiller just decides, Rutgers isn't for me. Now, when Kiyomi McMiller was in high school, she was getting recruited by, the USCs, the Marylands, a lot of the top schools. But there was an article where she quoted, said that she's looking to slay these big schools, slay these big giants, and take them down. Kiyomi, you're not going to do that at Rutgers. You're not going to do that at Rutgers. Now, if I'm Kiyomi McMiller, if I were Kiyomi McMiller in that situation, right, I'm looking at this Rutgers team, what they've done in the past. The first year under Coach Washington, this is the record: 12-20, 5-13 in the Big Ten. Okay, cool. She doesn't have her players all in. She has to recruit the right players to come in. Cool. Okay, we give her a pass for that first year. Year two, they got worse. 8-24, 2-16 in Big Ten play. And Miss McMiller, you think you're going to go to Rutgers and knock off Maryland and knock off Ohio State and knock off these top programs, UCLA, USC, UConn? It's not happening. It's not happening. Now, alongside Kiyomi McMiller, they do have Destiny Adams, who's averaging 15 points per game. Last year, I think she averaged, 15 or 16 as well. But she's a senior. 3 of their top 4 scorers outside of Kiyomi McMiller are seniors. Outside of Kiyomi McMiller in this freshman class, there's only one other freshman on this team. They aren't going to be good next year. You can stamp that. We can replay this video next year. Rutgers is not going to be good next year. They're not going to be good. And you think you're going to go there, Miss McMiller, and knock off these top programs, these powerhouses? No, not happening. Not happening. Now, when you look at the rosters that she had, their top scorer the past 2 seasons, Kayleen Smichael, she averaged 17 points in her freshman year, and in her sophomore year, she averaged 16 points in the 2 seasons when she was at Rutgers. She has since transferred to number 8 Maryland, where she's averaging 18 points per game. She's no longer on Rutgers. Now, whether that was a lack of winning, getting into it with the coach's play style, whatever the case may be, she left. The writing's on the wall. Kiyomi McMiller could be next to leave Rutgers. Or in the society that we live in, when you don't win, when you're not producing, the coach has to go. So is it going to be Kiyomi or is it going to be Coach Washington? Y'all let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, man. What y'all think? I definitely think Kiyomi is probably going to be gone. I definitely think Coach Washington is going to be gone after this year. I don't think she's going to be keeping her job too long. Now, to be fair, Coach Washington was a great player. She was a great player at Notre Dame. She was a great coach when she was at Penn State a decade ago. Times are not the same. As I mentioned, with NIL and the transfer portal, things can change in an instant. The money that's being offered to these athletes, the marketability that's available to these athletes, the brand deals that are available to these athletes, they're not how it was a decade ago. Coach Washington has to figure out a way to get the top talent, but not only get the top talent, but win games. That's the key, winning games. You have to find a way to win games. Now, Coach Washington in their most recent press conference said after the loss to Michigan State, now granted they were in the game against Michigan State, ranked opponent, it was tied at halftime. Third quarter came, got away from them. Now, Coach Washington in the press game conference, she mentioned, we have to put together 40 minutes of play. She said, every time we go in and we fix one thing, another thing pops up. You know what that tells me? You have a bad team. That's a sign of a bad team. When you fix one problem and another problem arises, that's not a good look. And then you go to the media and you tell the media this, that's not a good look. She's going to be gone next year. She's going to be gone next year. And whether she thinks that she didn't get a fair opportunity or, she was unable to recruit with the type of talent that she wanted, you have a 5-star. You have Destiny Adams averaging 15, and you still can't win a game in the Big Ten. Looking at their schedule, it only gets tougher from here. They might finish the season with 3 or 4 Big Ten wins. You know what that tells me? Fired. Out of there. We got to get somebody else in there. So we'll see. Like I said, y'all let me know in the comments what y'all thinking, man. Do you think Coach Washington is going to be going? Do you think Kiyomi McMiller is going to be going? Do you think they end up somehow staying, both of them? Or do you think both of them are going after this year? Let me know y'all thoughts in the comments, man. We're going to be back real soon with another video, man. We out.